This video is brought to you by AKS IAS.
Okay, good. Don't worry, I'll start from the beginning. So, to write a good essay, you need 10 fundamental skills. First skill is read question 10 times. See, only when you read the question 10 times, then the second important skill that is identifying the core theme of the essay will be taken care. Isn't it? Read question 10 times patiently, then you will pick the core theme. Once you pick the core theme, the next important component is generating relevant dimensions. Dimensions are nothing but headings. Okay, I'm not suggesting that you have to put headings, but every essay has certain headings or certain important aspects that are supposed to be covered. Those are dimensions. Very soon you will get to know as I'm going through the discussion, right? So generate relevant dimensions. Once you generate relevant dimensions, the next important skill you have to have is generate arguments within dimensions. Generate arguments within dimensions. One common mistake, very common mistake often students do while writing essays is making their essays an example dump. Essays should not be an example dump. Essays should have some analytical depth. Arguments show your analytical depth. Examples just show your current awareness or awareness of the subject or awareness of things happening around you. So a good essay is something which should have sufficient number of arguments which are analytical in nature within the dimensions. Once you generate these arguments, then back up these arguments or support these arguments with examples. Support them with examples. After you do this, next thing you have to do is prioritization of dimensions, which is very important. Prioritization of dimensions means, see, we have limited space and limited time. How much space and how much time you have to give to each heading is something very, very important. Sometimes students have a tendency to overwrite one particular dimension and underperform other dimension. This again can be a major mistake if not avoided. So you have to learn to prioritize. How much space and how much time I have to give to each dimension is another important skill you have to learn. Then after prioritizing your dimensions, learn to logically arrange the dimensions. So what is this logically arranging the dimensions? Logically arranging the dimensions means the dimension should have a proper flow. There should be an element of coherence. So how does coherence come? Coherence come only when you logically order or only when you logically arrange the dimensions. That is where coherence comes from. So logically arrange the dimension, that would automatically give coherence to your essay. Isn't it? They should not be disorderly. They should be in a proper order. Then after you logically arrange these dimensions, then of course you also should learn to write good connectives. Good connectives or connecting lines. These are in the nature of, let's say you have completed one dimension and you are, let's say you have generated 5-6 dimensions or 5-6 headings. As you are moving from A to B to C to D to E to F, you have to ensure that there are proper connectives. There are proper connecting lines. That only gives coherence, that only gives the logical flow to your essay. Then, okay, some innovations. So what are this innovations? Innovations are like, some have this tendency to bring mythological references. Some have a tendency to write some quotes, anecdotes, whatnot. It's like it's up to you. What all you innovate is your thing. Okay. Then the next most important skill is writing good introductions and conclusions. Writing good introductions and conclusions. Okay, so one of the biggest mistakes students do while writing an essay is they just read a topic and randomly brainstorm everything they know about this topic. You should never do that. You should do brainstorming only after you identify the core theme. After identifying the core theme, generate relevant dimensions. Brainstorming should happen after you identify the dimensions. If you brainstorm before identifying the dimensions, you end up generating so many random points, you do not know how to order them, you do not know how to put them in a coherent way, essay gets messed up. It just becomes a display of your awareness or a display of your knowledge or a dump of all the current events which you have read, because mind has this recency bias, so it always wanted to write something you have read recently. Highly likely that you may end up missing the core demand of the question, right? So on these lines, let me take one more time, quickly read this. So let's start with the first topic. Oxymorons. Oxymorons reflect. Oxymorons reflect the ironies of life. Oxymorons reflect the ironies of life. I know for most of us this term oxymoron is a bit unfamiliar, but if you read Hindu paper regularly, not difficult. That's the reason we insist to read Hindu paper, right? That's how you pick your vocabulary, right? Otherwise, in the regular current affairs or in your classroom discussions or in classroom materials, you don't pick these sort of vocabulary, right? So oxymorons are like, these are in the nature of phrases. These are the phrases which are what you call paradoxical or kind of contradictory phrases. Like, there is a one simple example. How is the why people say there is deafening silence? Silence and deafening both are in the nature of oxymoron, right? Silence and deafening. So that nothing but contradictions or paradox is what oxymorons stand for. Contradictions or oxymoron is what, paradoxes is what oxymoron stand for. Don't take so much about oxymoron. Oxymoron is just a phrase which indicates paradoxes or contradictions. So core theme is this. What is the core theme? Core theme is to tell us that life is full of paradoxes and life is full of contradictions. Life is full of paradoxes and life is full of contradictions, isn't it? So now the next step after identifying the core theme, what is it? Generating dimensions. So what kind of dimensions? First we should substantiate it. Why life is full of contradictions? Isn't it? Life is full of contradictions. What type of contradictions we have in life? So we have several contradictions in life. Let's say you have joy and you have sorrow. Isn't it? Life is all about this contradictions. Life is all about this paradoxes. You have freedom and you also have discipline. Another paradox of life. Bitter and sweet also. Isn't it? Life also is about bitterness and also about sweet. Like this, there are many things. Of course, success and failure also is a contradiction. Success and failure is a contradiction. So we should try to tell why life is full of contradictions. Then after telling the next important thing is we should talk about significance of these contradictions. Significance of these contradictions, what do I mean? Uh, are these contradictions really bad? Not exactly, right? They have some significance in our life. They have significance in our life. That part we have to talk about. What is the significance of all these contradictions? Then, after talking about significance, we also should identify, are all contradictions bad? Are all contradictions bad? Are all paradoxes bad? Again, are all contradictions really helpful? Are all contradictions bad? Are all contradictions helpful? This can be written under one dimension. Then, okay, what if we do not handle our contradictions well? Let's say we know there are contradictions, but what if we do not handle these contradictions well? What if we do not handle these contradictions well? Then another dimension I could think of is how to navigate through these contradictions. How to navigate, isn't it? We all should learn to navigate through these contradictions. We should learn to navigate through these only when we learn to navigate through these contradictions, that is when we realize the purpose of life, isn't it? So we all have joy, we all have sorrow in our life. There is freedom in life and there is also need for discipline in life. There is success in life and there is also failure in life. Okay, so then what creates these contradictions in life? What creates contradictions in life? Circumstances, isn't it? What can create? Yeah, no, it's an argument. Within dimension A, we should generate some arguments, right? So life is full of contradictions because so within this, let's try to generate some arguments. Life is full of contradictions because circumstances change, isn't it? Circumstances change, people change in life, isn't it? Do people remain constant? No. Grandparents, they were at some time, they may not be there. Parents may not be there, friends may not be there. So people change, circumstances change, places change, isn't it? And individual himself change, isn't it? Are we all the same? No. Some of us might be what you call very rigid in our attitudes, very rigid in our personality, very rigid with our principles, which may be outdated sometimes. Maybe we might change. When we change, yes, that has the potential to create a paradox or contradiction. So this way, generate some arguments. I'm not saying these are the only arguments, but this is the way to generate arguments. Do you agree with me? Life creates contradictions. It's not that contradictions come to us naturally. The circumstances we are going through, the people we come across in life, the places we visit, or the places as you change your geography, or you yourself as an individual, you transform, you don't remain the same throughout your life. All these create contradictions. Then the next dimension is significance of contradictions. Are all contradictions really bad in life? No. Why contradictions are not bad in life? Contradictions, isn't it? Contradictions help us in appreciating, isn't it? Contradictions help us in appreciating all facets, isn't it? Contradictions enhance our awareness. Simply put, you can write it like this: contradictions enhance our awareness. Contradictions can probably humble us. Contradictions can humble us, isn't it? When you know that there is also a failure, so contradictions can also humble us. And contradictions prepares us. Contradictions prepares us, isn't it? When you know that currently you might be strong, but there is a possibility that you might get into vulnerability, so don't you think you will start preparing yourself for becoming strong again from your current vulnerable phase? Like that. So this is how you have to generate arguments under each of the dimension, like significance of contradictions in life. And are all contradictions bad? Maybe not all contradictions are bad, isn't it? Let's take one contradiction: discipline and freedom. Should we all enjoy unbridled freedom? Maybe no. Sometimes you should learn to be disciplined to enjoy unlimited freedom. Isn't it? You should learn to be disciplined for you to enjoy unlimited freedom. Only if you taste sorrow in life, you will realize the value of joy. Only when you face scarcity in love, then you can appreciate the goodness and abundance. You understood my point? So not all contradictions are bad. Contradictions are also, helpful in life. So some contradictions are not, this is more or less similar to the significance part of it, but sometimes contradictions are not helpful. Sometimes contradictions are not helpful. Maybe sometimes the contradictions are created by certain circumstances which we don't need. Let's say poverty is also a contradiction in life, but poverty is not something we all deserve, isn't it? So just like that, a vulnerability is not what we all deserve, especially if it is created by things which are beyond our making. So not always contradictions are helpful. That also you have to write. You need not overdo that part. Then what if we do not handle our contradictions well? What if we do not? Simple. If you do not know how to handle your contradictions, simple, you get succumbed to the emotional pressure. If you do not know how to handle your contradictions, you will succumb. Let's say when you are a failure and you do not know how to handle that, or when you are sorrow, you do not know how to handle that. You are vulnerable, you do not know how to handle that. You are facing scarcity in life, you do not know how to handle that. What will happen? So if you do not know how to handle the contradictions, then an individual might succumb to the pressures, an individual might become more vulnerable, an individual might get depressed, an individual might be considered as a failure. So these are all, so we all should learn to navigate through our contradictions. So how do we learn to navigate our contradictions? That is where your ethics knowledge would come into picture. You should build that emotional resilience, isn't it? We all should build that emotional intelligence. So when you build that emotional intelligence, that is when you will learn to appreciate. Okay, you all should learn to be an interdependent being. Okay, the tendency is to glorify individualism, but when you have this interdependence, you have this idea of cooperation. That is where you what do you call you can handle your paradoxes in a better way. When you have people around to support you, when you have people to help you, when you have people to pull you out of your circumstances, that is where interdependence play an important role in handling your paradoxes. So this is how you have to generate a few more ideas and you have to conclude your essay. Okay, so that is about this first essay. Oxymorons reflect the ironies of life. Oxymorons reflect the ironies of life. Just take 1 minute, try to understand what we discussed. So why life is full of contradictions, significance of contradictions in individual's life, are all contradictions in life bad? What if we do not handle our contradictions or paradoxes in life in a better way? How to navigate through contradictions in our life? Within that, generate the arguments. I have not discussed the examples part of it due to paucity of time, but you also have to generate examples and back your essay with these examples. So what I try to do is, this is how the skills which I have mentioned with you, skill 1, skill 2, skill 3 are displayed. Just 1 minute time I will take and tell you prioritization. Let's say in UPSC we have 10 papers, 1000 words, whatever. What according to you should be given the most priority? Significance, right? Significance, isn't it? Life is full of conditions, need not be given so much this thing. Significance you have to give substantial priority, around 250, 300 words it deserves. Are all contradictions helpful? No, that 150 words, something like that. What if we do not handle contradictions is an important dimension. You can give it around 200 to 250 words also. How to navigate through these paradoxes or contradictions also is important. For that also you have to give around 200 to 250 words. And why life is full of contradictions, somewhat important, you can give it up to 100 to 150 words. Introduction 100 words, conclusion 75 words, penultimate paragraph before conclusion some 50 words. That is how you build your 1000 words essay. Okay, essay should not be a unidimensional entity, like or there are certain outdated frameworks like pestle framework, thesis, what do you call it? Thesis, antithesis, synthesis, defer technique. All this Delhi based YouTube channels teach all this outdated techniques. No, each essay has to be treated on its own and has to be understood in its own context. Dimensions have to be generated and has to be written. Got my point? Yes. So, online students, is that clear? Are you able to pick what we are discussing? Okay, good. So, one important skill you have to master actually is to generate arguments. Of course, generating dimensions also is important, but generating arguments also is equally important. Let's go to the second essay. A grateful mind is very beautiful. This is one of the easiest essay. A grateful mind is very beautiful. A grateful mind is very beautiful. Simple, right? They are trying to glorify a virtue. What virtue they are trying to glorify? So, what is the core theme? Being grateful. What is being grateful? Nothing but displaying gratitude. Being grateful is nothing but displaying gratitude. Displaying gratitude is nothing but being grateful. So every year at least 2 essays will be revolving around some other virtue. These are the easiest type of essays to handle. Let's say now replace that grateful by courage, replace that grateful by fortitude or courage, replace it by integrity, replace it by honesty, replace it by truthfulness, replace it by any virtue. The framework I will be discussing now is equally valid. It won't change. You understand my point? Let's see how. Of course, dimensions. One, introduction with what some anecdote or some case story or binary, like wherein you show one individual displaying gratefulness in life, another individual not displaying gratefulness in life, likewise. Then again, simple significance of gratefulness, significance of gratefulness or displaying gratitude. Then after talking about significance of gratefulness, you can also talk why gratefulness or sense of gratitude is declining in the current times. That is itself significance, right? Importance and significance are same. Why gratefulness is declining in the current times? In the current times, gratefulness is declining, sense of gratitude is declining in the society. Then outcomes or consequences of declining, outcomes or consequences of declining of gratitude, outcomes or consequences of declining of gratitude. And another simple dimension, how to revive this virtue, how to revive. Isn't it? If something is declining, don't you think we have a responsibility to revive this virtue? We have a responsibility to revive this virtue. Okay, a grateful mind is very beautiful. It says grateful as the core theme. So displaying gratitude. After introduction, significance of gratitude. Why gratefulness is important? Why gratitude, displaying gratitude is important? Simple, right? So displaying gratitude is important. Displaying gratitude is important. Why? It is important because that is what makes you humble, right? That shows your humility. And displaying gratitude enhances trust in you. Displaying gratitude is a sign of interdependence. Okay, and displaying gratitude strengthens or enhances solidarity, and displaying gratitude ensures that you get reciprocated in the later time. So like this you have to build some arguments. Okay, I'm not saying that you have to generate only these arguments, whichever arguments you could generate at that point of time, whichever are more relevant, isn't it? If you are having gratitude means kritagnata bhavam in Telugu, so then you will be considered as someone humble, then you will be considered as someone who has that trustworthiness, then you are someone who believe in interdependence, like I can depend on other, or that other is something who has shown gratitude to you. We should display gratitude to our parents, to our friends, everyone around us on a daily basis, isn't it? That's where the concept of gratitude journaling is born, isn't it? That makes us more rooted, that makes us more humble, that makes us more present, isn't it? And yeah, gratitude also enhances solidarity. You can also say gratitude can keep us mentally strong. Gratitude keeps us mentally strong, isn't it? It instills that confidence. Oh, God has already given me so much, God has already given me so much, then why am I and what am I still running after, right? Then gratitude also contributes to reciprocity. You show gratitude to someone, somebody will again reciprocate to you some other point of time. So this way you have to generate arguments. And after talking about the significance of gratitude, then this is another important dimension. Don't you think in the current society gratitude is witnessing a decline? People are losing that sense of gratitude. It could be for multiple reasons. It could be because of self-centeredness, increasing self-centeredness, increasing greed, increasing arrogance, and increasing sense of entitlement. All these are various reasons why gratefulness or gratitude, sense of gratitude is declining in the current society. Simply put, people are busy. People are just busy to express their gratitude. As simple, just like after you get ranks, you don't attend calls of course, my toppers always attend my calls. The point I am trying to say, that's a way of displaying the gratitude, right? So gratefulness is declining. You have to capture that dimension because it's a social problem. The fact that expression of gratitude, including self gratitude, is declining in the current times undeniably is a social problem. We should not just treat at the level of individual. Overall, there is a decline in this, isn't it? Like recently, I made one podcast. I don't know if you have seen or not. One politician from Bongir, he was saying he used to donate a lot of money, and he used to do a lot of charity, lot of donations and all. One day, he met apparently one girl who became some constable, and after because he offered her some financial help, whatever, this lady recognized him but did not even want to wish him, did not even want to acknowledge that she has studied in the same hostel which he has completely funded. You understand my point? At that point, he realized, I made so much money, I thought I should give it back to the society. Then, when there is no sense of gratitude, why should I give? Why should I always think in terms of nishkama karma? At least I want it to be reciprocated, not if not reciprocated in a financial way, basic acknowledgement I have not. So that has killed the donor in me, that has killed an attitude of charity in me. I no longer am generous, I no longer am altruistic. Is his point of view. I'm not supporting him, but that is his point of view. You understood my point? When sense of gratitude declines, it will have impact on people who actually want to give it back or give back to the society. So that's what, when sense of gratitude declines in the society, it will definitely have negative outcomes, isn't it? All this reversal of all these things happen, isn't it? When sense of gratitude declines, when sense of the people will become less humble, isn't it? Or it erodes trust amongst people, and it breaks that element of interdependence in the society, isn't it? And definitely that is the reason most of the people are visibly depressed most of the times. Reason being, they don't count their blessings, isn't it? Most of us have money, enough money to survive. We must be having parents, we must be having siblings, we must be having friends, we must be having, enough to survive in life. Still, people look visibly depressed, or people look rattled, or people get restless for smaller things because the sense of gratitude. That's why there is that people are always insisted to do this gratitude journaling on a regular basis, when you do gratitude journaling, that keeps you content, that keeps you humble, that keeps you down to earth, and makes your life easy, and that's how it keeps you mentally strong. So that's why the mental stability of people is coming down these days, and people also will not reciprocate anymore if the sense of gratitude is declining. Okay, so this is how you have to build that arguments for that. Then of course, how to revive this virtue, isn't it? It's an important virtue, right? And it has to be revived at all levels. At an individual level, of course, to start with, it's a reflective topic. At an individual level, it has to be it has to be revived. At a neighborhood level or a community level, at the family level, and at the institutional level, at the national level, everywhere, isn't it? India also has to reciprocate. India also has to display a sense of gratitude. If certain nation helped India at certain point of time, just for the sake of self-interest, we may not, or we should not do something in the name of realism or in the name of pragmatism. You understood my point? So at all levels in the society, we have to learn to nurture this virtue called as gratitude. For this, what I would suggest, as I said, for all virtues, more or less the framework would be same. It will also help you in your ethics. Use any AI tool, ask it, give me a 7-point framework in strengthening this virtue at individual level and at, what do you call, at different levels you can speak, or you can just say at individual level. That framework you can use for more or less all the questions. Understood what I am trying to say? You just have to ask the AI tool how to instill this virtue in the society, or how to instill this virtue at an individual level. These two are sufficient, isn't it? For instilling any virtue, what should be done? It starts with socialization, it starts with enculturation. People should be as part of your enculturation, as part of your socialization, as part of your education, as part of your religion, as part of your, this is how we have to use our existing social institutions to instill any virtue. Of course, state also has its own role in instilling any virtues, isn't it? Otherwise, we can't expect that individual will naturally cultivate all those virtues. Got it? So this is how you have to approach this second topic. Okay? Yes.
So can we use the same dimensions for any virtues?
Yeah, that's what I am trying to say. For more or less all virtues, you can use these dimensions. Again, use a little bit of common sense, that's important. But yes, for most of the essays which involve virtues, you can use this framework. Got it? Yes. Let's go to the third question. Third question. A thorn is a changed bud. Okay, this one even I got misled in the first reading. A thorn is a changed bud. Thorn is a changed bud. What is bud? Mogga in Telugu, as simple as it. And what is thorn? Thorn is a, thorn is something which is considered as sharp, piercing nature, harmful nature, like that. So here, bud symbolizes, what bud symbolizes? Bud symbolizes, don't write botany, bud, flower, not that. You have to understand what it symbolizes, right? Goodness. To be a little more precise, bud symbolizes innate potential, isn't it? Everyone have an innate potential, but under right circumstances, or under right circumstances, some birds become flowers, whereas under certain circumstances same bird can turn into thorn. So here flower indicates an embodiment of virtues, thorn indicates an embodiment of vices. Thorn means vices, all things negative, but flower means all things positive. So it is about innate potential and individual process, and how the circumstances shape this bird. So the bird can either become a flower, or the same bird can become a thorn. Same bird can become a thorn. So it's the circumstances. Okay, so that is how you have to build. So you can generate following dimensions. What type of dimensions? Core theme is about nurturing innate potential. That is what I could identify. Transformation. It is about anything to anything. Anything to anything mediated by this so-called circumstances. It could be success to failure, good to bad, bad to good, bad to good, likewise. So what dimensions I could identify? How to nurture innate potential, how to nurture innate potential. Then importance of nurturing, isn't it? Should we not nurture a bird into a flower? So there is a lot of importance in nurturing, importance of nurturing. And what would happen if we do not nurture? What would happen? Here nurturing is nothing but circumstances, taking control of the circumstances. Your nurturing means you are taking control of the circumstances. We nurture a child into adult, isn't it? That whole environment we tend to control. So called this bud will not become a thorn. This bud we want to make it a flower, isn't it? So it's a nurturing is a process. Nurturing is creating a set of circumstances in such a way that, as I already mentioned, bird gets into a shape of a flower, then getting into the shape of a thorn. So what would happen if we do not nurture? What would happen if we do not nurture? Okay, then what are the problems in the present way of nurturing? What are the problems? Should we write that also? What are problems in present way of nurturing? What are problems in present way of nurturing? What are problems in present way of nurturing? Then should we always nurture? Should we always nurture? Okay, should we always nurture? This dimension, how to nurture, you can write at the end also, or you can write at the starting also. You got my point? So if you read the question calmly, a thorn is a changed bud. Here what does the bud symbolizes? Bud symbolizes innate potential. And the innate potential should be nurtured, which means the circumstances around the bird should be created in such a way that the bird metamorphoses or the bird changes into a flower rather than into a thorn. So what I try to do, I try to identify nurturing as the core theme. Then I have generated dimensions within that, wherein I identified importance of nurturing. Why should we nurture? And what would happen if we do not nurture? And what are the problems in the present way of nurture? So if nurturing is not appropriate, then definitely, isn't it? Then definitely it will have negative consequences on the individual. Again, don't think that you have to confine yourself only to the individual level. Even a society has to be nurtured in a right way, isn't it? Even a society has to create right circumstances. A society has to which means it is the responsibility of the members of the society to create right circumstances. So society blooms into a flower rather than, isn't it? So the explanation should not be confined only to the individual level. You can also take it one level deeper by talking about nation also. Nation, society, everything has to be nurtured, or everything has circumstances around it which has to be taken care. Okay, am I audible? Please confirm, online students. Audible? Okay, good. Yeah. Oh.
So arguments can be same for all the dimensions.
Arguments, try your best to not repeat the arguments.
Because the same society and individual angle can be explained in all the dimensions.
Yes, yes. Ensure that they are not repetitive. That adds diversity to your analytical depth, isn't it? Otherwise, if everything looks similar, somewhere that loses its novelty, right? That freshness might be lost. Generate more number of arguments. That's the real skill, right? Yes. So, anything else to add? Understood this? Okay. Yes. Really understood? Any lack of clarity?
We'll skip this essays
Which one?
in exam.
Why? Yeah, that is also important. Identifying the right essay is important. Just because you have this fancy thing to write tough things need not be.
150.
Always try to identify an essay which is easy. Let's say if I am given an opportunity in the first set, let's say what is the first topic we started? Oxymorons reflect the ironies of life. For most of us, oxymoron is, I know oxymoron, but even I have to check once in Google because I have to take a class, right? So I have to be a little cautious. And grateful mind is very beautiful, is a beautiful essay to attempt. Then thorn is a changed, but depends. Often, like I think last time they gave one question on forest, civilization, desert, something. One student of mine who has written, he did not write mains with me, but he came to me after mains. He wrote geography, forest, desert, civilization. No, you should not take it verbatim, right? Then here you'll end up writing botany, bud, flower, thorn. Things will get messed up. So you should learn how to decode that symbols in a precise way. Then yeah, when two elephants fight, it is the grass that gets trampled. This is also easy. Like two countries, geopolitics. But geopolitics is not the only dimension you have to take. This is what people have this optional bias. You are a PSIR guy, then you see this, people jump the guns and end up writing too many IR examples. It's a casualty. Anthropology. Nature, it's not nature man spirit. Yeah, that's how we get misled. Okay. So let's go to the next essay.
Something like this.
Because it's like this, Rohita. International relations is only one dimension. So students often do this mistake, especially when we evaluate copies of PSR students. After going to the third or fourth paragraph, I'll ask him, "Are you a PSR student?" So do not show that you belong to some particular optional like that. I mean, it's not that I'm discouraging you that you should not write it. You can write it, but you should learn to. It should be a well-rounded. That shows your ability to reflect upon everything around you, right? Yes. Next question. No, nothing like that. Generally, till now, the wisdom is what essay is attempted by most people, these are the ones getting good scores. People who tend to experiment, they are also getting good scores, but sometimes if it backfires bad. But everything is neutralized if you practice really well. Ultimately, everything boils down to your practice. There are people who have taken unconventional topics and scored exceptionally high. Even I have such students with me. And there are students who does safe play and got higher scores. So there is no hard and fast rule, but generally what is suggested, pick one essay which is picked by most and show your best. You stand out in comparison, relative comparison, you are the best, you score the best. Done. Then when two elephants fight, it is the grass that gets trampled. Simple topic, right? When two elephants fight, it is the grass that gets trampled. So a relatively simple topic. Here elephants symbolizes what?
Two power,
Two
powerful entities.
powerful entities. So the two powerful entities can be two individuals. Even a father and mother fighting can have impact on children. So you should learn to write it from that level also. Or it could be two neighborhoods, it could be two individuals, it could be two states, it could be two countries, anything. So when two elephants is symbol of two powerful entities. It is the grass. Grass means, yes, very good, very good. It is vulnerable. So when two powerful people enter into conflict, fight is a symbol of what? Conflict. Conflict. Especially in a violent conflict between powerful people, who are the most affected? Vulnerable people are the most affected. Vulnerable people are the most affected. When two elephants fight, it is the grass that gets trampled. It is the grass that gets trampled. So what can be the core theme? Simple. Violent conflict. Violent conflicts afflicts disproportionate damage or impact on vulnerable. Okay, violent conflicts afflicts disproportionate impact on vulnerable. Now let's work on the dimensions. So talking about dimensions, first you should substantiate it, right? Why or how violent conflict affects, how violent conflicts impacts vulnerable. Okay, so in this how and why, the points are overlapping. Why it impacts or how it impacts, if you think in your mind, how it impacts and why it impacts, more or less the nature of the points would be same. So you need not think two different headings. How it impacts and why it impacts, you can write them as separate dimension, but it's a bit difficult in the examination. You can just write either why it impacts or how it impacts the vulnerable. Then how to minimize the collateral damage. How to minimize the collateral damage. Then how to avoid conflicts. Then should conflicts be always avoided? Should conflicts be always avoided for the sake of vulnerable? For the sake of vulnerable. So these are the dimensions I could identify, isn't it? So whenever there is a violent conflict between two parts, so obviously, so just trying to generate dimensions, what will happen? There will be a substantial utilization of resources, isn't it? And whenever there is a conflict, all conflicts generally may have violence. All conflicts will have consequences. All conflicts will leave. Then you can say long-term wounds on history. Like this, you have to generate arguments, isn't it? In every conflict, look, currently USA and Iran are on conflict. Huge amount of resources are being wasted, right? Russia and Ukraine are in a prolonged conflict. Lots of resources are being wasted. And somewhere US and Iran are fighting, in a poor Indian citizen is waiting for his gas cylinder, and somebody in Ashok Nagar not getting one meal of the day, or probably enhanced hostel fee because of US-Iran war, is a consequence of a violent conflict between two elephants. So resources, it would be human resources, technological resources, financial resources, at all levels there is a major resource consumption and also resource degradation, isn't it? Both resources are getting consumed in a conflict, resources are also getting degraded in a conflict, isn't it? What did US do? It had followed this scorched earth policy. As it is retreating, it has burned some oil fields or gas fields around Iran and it has left. Why? Just for the sake of inflicting more damage on the enemy. Got my point? So conflict involves both resource consumption and resource degradation. Conflict often involves violence, which often becomes difficult to reconcile and might create permanent cleavages. They have longer term consequences or wounds, and they leave historical aspects. So this is how you have to generate arguments within it. Then, so how to minimize the collateral damage? It's very, very important. Sometimes it's not easy to avert the conflicts. When it's not easy to avert the conflicts, at least we should learn to minimize the collateral damage. You should write how can we minimize the collateral damage. Then you also should not leave it there. You also should write how to avoid conflicts in the first place, isn't it? How to avoid conflicts, like again, peace, confidence building measures, peace resolutions, dialogue, discussions, all these things you can write. Then should conflicts be, again, at the individual level also? How to avoid conflict at the individual level also? Same thing, right? Individuals should communicate, individuals should involve in dialogue, individuals should express, individuals should reconcile, individuals should accommodate, individuals should tolerate. Whether it is individual level or institutional level, society level, more or less it is the same. But you should also write how to avoid conflicts. Should conflicts be always avoided for the sake of vulnerable? Should conflicts be always avoided for the sake of vulnerable?
Yes, we can take it suicide.
Yes, they have to be avoided at all times, isn't it? You can't say that, because this is essay, right? That's a test of your personality. You can't say that, it's okay, sometimes let few people die. Let's kill them. Okay? You cannot say that. You understood my point? So better not take a stand against it. It's okay, sometimes the war is inevitable, let few people die. Yes, that practicality or pragmatism is appreciated in the real life, but definitely not for students who are preparing for an examination wherein because you are going to be civil servants, not military officers. Let's be aware of that. So for you, empathy is important, welfareism is important, that sense of tolerance is important. So I would sincerely suggest, don't tell that it's okay, sometimes it is even inevitable, they have to pay a price, is not very appropriate way of writing an essay. Okay, but justify it. You try to justify it. Need not believe just because I am saying it. If you write it, you also justify it, because like that is what Immanuel Kant says, right? Not even a single person should face the consequences. Everyone's rights should be upheld, isn't it? That is the highest ethical principle, right? When that is the highest ethical principle, why not we stand by the highest ethical principle? Why should we tone down our ethicality just because two countries are power mongering, or in the name of national interest or in the name of national security they get belligerent and kill lakhs and thousands of innocent people? Because it is a slippery slope. Once you start accepting that it is okay, we really do not know where it ends, right? Isn't it? It's a slippery slope. It might snowball into a major crisis, right? It may start with 100 people, it may go 1,000, lakh, crore, whole humanity also. So as a student preparing for examination, it is always safe to take a stand against all forms of violence. Keep it simple. Okay, that could be domestic violence, that could be structural violence, that could be gender based violence, or that could be communal violence, that could be caste based violence, or that could be violence in the name of state, or that could be violence in the name of nationalism or national interests. Okay, it's a reality. That's what I'm just war theory, use it in political science. Just war theory, when you are writing an ethical dilemma, you write it. But at least I personally prefer I mean, that's what. Again, it's debatable, but I would suggest to write this. Okay, you have all what do you call? Yes. Let's go to the next topic. So we are done with 4 topics. Just take 2 minutes of time. Quickly see what you have written till now. If you have understood things or not, in any doubts you have. Online students, any doubts? Vairishta, you are not in Ashok Nagar. These classes should be attended offline, right? Like at least classroom students should have come. Okay. So by this time you already have understood the most important ingredient in an essay is generating appropriate dimensions, isn't it? If that is taken care, rest all will fall in line. Arguments, again, with practice, arguments will come easily. It's all about practice. You should practice a little more, then you can generate argument within a dimension. Naveen, are you able to pick? There are also some beginners. Are you guys able to understand? Or is it appearing like Greek and Latin? Yeah? Online? Yourself? You're able to pick? Sure? Good. Really appreciate it.
Who is teaching us?
Please get level. Right. So, how to write conclusions? Yeah, that's a valid question. Let me address that how to write conclusions and go to the next. My way of writing conclusions is futuristic, optimistic, and radiating positivity. This is what I suggest, and this will work also. Let's quickly see. Okay. Let's go to the first essay. Oxymoron reflects the ironies of life. In that, what did we identify as the core theme? Contradictions or paradoxes, isn't it? So, again, a good conclusion for this is accepting that it is a reality. Contradictions are a reality in life. So, accepting that contradictions, take it in an optimistic note. Contradictions will only strengthen us. Contradictions will only make us understand what we are. Contradictions help us in understanding the real purpose of life. So that's how contradictions build us. Contradictions make us handle our future in a more responsible way, in a more confident way. So, in a futuristic way, in an optimistic way. So, talking positive things about contradictions, you can conclude. Okay. Then, next essay. It is a grateful mind is very beautiful. Grateful mind is very beautiful. Again, for this, let us build a society in which everyone displays a great sense of gratitude. Every individual nurtures this sense of gratitude. Every family displays a great amount of gratitude to the society in which they live in. Like this, even a nation. So in such a society where gratitude is flourishing everywhere, such society will become a peaceful society, harmonious society, and a society with a lot of prosperity, whatever. You understand my point? Isn't it what's wrong in wishing for good things to happen? Such a beautiful virtue. Let everyone have that virtue. Let us wish for that virtue. And let us conclude our essay on a very positive note. Okay, this guy is actually optimistic about life, isn't it? We also expect such conclusions only. It's a there is no great gratitude in the society. This society has gone to dogs. There is nothing much we can do. Such a conclusion will definitely be not appreciated. And one or two quotations or something like that also would work. Thorn is a changed, but here what did we identify as the core theme? Potential, right? Potential. So again, that you can say, again, let us have a society in which every individual gets an opportunity to fully manifest his potential, and sufficient opportunities are given to an individual, and in such a way that, and when each individual starts manifesting his fullest potential, isn't it? Just imagine we all start manifesting our fullest potential. Don't you think we'll be more peaceful within ourselves? We'll be more peaceful within ourselves. There will be less turmoil. There will be less internal contradiction. We'll be more happy. Families will be more happy. Everywhere there will be happiness. Half of the problems in the life will go if we monomaniacally start pursuing what we are capable of. Isn't it? All of you are capable of clearing examination. Does anyone here believe that you are not capable of clearing exam? Not like that, right? You believe that you are capable of clearing examination. That's why you have come here. Means you believe that you have potential. Then every single decision you take or every single thing you do should be in the direction of manifesting that potential. The problem is we tend to deviate from the core which we are supposed to do, that is stopping us from harnessing our fullest potential. That is the source of frustration, isn't it? That is the source of frustration. That is the source of what do you call self-deprecation. That is the source of low self-esteem, low self-respect, whatnot. Everything follows. Low self-confidence, isn't it? So it's all about nurturing our potential, and every individual should jealously safeguard themselves and their mind from anything that has the potential to what do you call undermine their potential. Something like that you can write and conclude. Again, say next, nature is sorry. When two elephants fight, here also let us visualize a society where peace flourishes, isn't it? Where peace is everywhere, peace is at home, peace is at family, peace in the community. Again, peace is a very open-ended virtue. Okay, peace is not just absence of violence. Peace is more than that. NCRT writes beautifully. Peace is not just absence of violence. Peace is more than that. Peace also is about consciously creating various aspects of society in such a way that every individual again lives a very meaningful and purposeful life. Peace is not just about that absence of violence. Peace also is about creating necessary social conditions, necessary economic conditions, necessary political conditions, creating certain conditions so everyone will live most meaningful and purposive life. That is the real meaning of peace. You understand my point? Generally, we think peace always in terms of violence only. No, peace has a much broader understanding. Peace has a much broader meaning. Peace is more than absence of violence. Uh-huh. Yes, that's what. Peace contributes to this, what do you call, harmonious living of the whole planet, and peace nurtures the idea of humanity or humanism. Yes. Okay. So that's how you have to write a conclusion. Conclusions are easy for me because it's easy to write in a very futuristic. Show that optimism. Do not show that you're already wrecked up because of this preparation and I'm tired of that preparation kind of conclusion should not be there. Okay. Yeah. They reflect your personality. Conclusions often reflect your real personality, reflect your what do you call inner contradictions likewise. So be very careful as you are writing your conclusion. Be positive, be optimistic, exude some hope in the future. Okay, don't show that hopelessness or despondency kind of things. Okay, yes. Next, part B. Part B has 4 questions, right? Nature is the symbol of spirit. Then a well-educated mind will always have more questions than answers. Shelving hard decisions is the least ethical course. A good leader is one who follows the followers. Okay, let me what do you call let me just show the 4 questions. I'll give 1 minute time. Tell me what you will write. Be honest. Yeah. I'll give only 1 minute time. Tell me what will you write. Nature is the symbol of a well-educated mind will always have more questions than answers. Shelving hot decisions is the least ethical course. Good leader is one who follows the followers. Idhar astam maja hai. Well-educated mind will always have more questions than answers. Okay. Hmm? Oh. Yeah, that is also an easy one. Anything else? Most of you will go with 6. Why not 5? No, not that's what the bias will often set in and you end up getting misled. Mutya, what will you pick? 6. Okay. Vinay, Rasta. Huh? 8. Yeah, 6 and 8 are easy somewhat. 7 also can be managed. 7 is not that difficult. 7 also can be managed. What if all the questions are like 5? Nothing much. You have to pick one among them. Yeah. Luckily, this time, easy to pick one. He made life easy. Let's see how tomorrow's papers would be. GS one. I'll also discuss ethics because that's also one of my strongest areas. I'll let you know when I do that. Yeah. Chalo, let's start the discussion. So, nature is the symbol of spirit. Nature is the symbol of spirit. Okay, this also is not actually very difficult. If you read question 10 times, look what they are saying. Nature. They are saying nature is a symbol of spirit. The problem is often we do not know what is spirit. Isn't it? Spirit means people think alcohol, but that's not spirit. Okay. Spirit actually is, we can understand spirit as very good, very good. Inner self, or spirit also can be understood as inner sense or inner self. That exactly is the spirit. It's an essence. It's an essence. But again, if you think a little deeper, we need not confine this only to the individual level. I said inner self, inner sense. That spirit is at the individual level. Just like an individual has a spirit, don't you think as a society, you all know this word. We have this collective spirit, collective consciousness, or collective conscience, or collective spirit. We have this collective spirit, or we have this. Isn't it? We have a common ethos, right? What are our ethos? Ethos are in the nature of a commonality in our thinking, a commonality in our personality, a commonality in our way of doing things, right? That also is a spirit which is embedded in our minds. And the question is saying nature is a symbol of the spirit. Nature is a symbol of the spirit. So what is nature? What does nature symbolizes? Nature is about beauty, isn't it? Nature is beauty. Nature means our environment. Nature is beauty. Nature is about harmony, right? Nature is about harmony. Nature exists in harmony. Very rarely it loses its harmony unless we meddle with it. Nature exists in harmony. Nature displays beautiful abilities to renew. Nature has an ability of renewal. Nature has an ability of renewal, and nature also is about interconnectedness, isn't it? In nature, everything is interconnected. That's what the concept of ecocentrism says, right? Ecocentrism, which goes against the idea of egocentrism, which is also related to our anthropological concept of deep ecology. Everything is interconnected. isn't it? So similar to the concept of food chains, you meddle with one, the impact will be everywhere. Very similar to the idea of One Health approach. One Health approach, deep ecology, and simply put, interconnectedness. Nature has all these important traits. Nature is beautiful. Nature has this exceptional capability to renew. You do anything to it, it renews given a time. Nature has an element of harmony. Nature exists on its own. And nature also is about interconnectedness. Now, let us see, it is the essay is taking a stand that spirit, nature is a symbol of spirit, means our spirit gets reflected in the nature. 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 Now, simple, as I said, nature is about harmony, nature is about renewal, nature is about interconnectedness, nature is about beauty. Let's say our individual spirit or our collective spirit, if it is contaminated or if it is polluted, okay, can it have impact on the nature? That is the first dimension we can take. Okay, and next we will try to see why is our spirit getting even polluted, isn't it? Why spirit is getting polluted, isn't it? Are we really raising our voice enough against Galatia Bay? Maybe no, because our spirit, our collective spirit was devitalized, isn't it? If our collective spirit is really so strong, maybe we all would have raised our voice against what's happening in we would have raised our voice against Great Nicobar project, or most of the atrocities happening around us, we would have raised our voice. Somewhere, somehow, that collective spirit is going, that collective conscience is eroding very fast. Because the attention span has become less, we keep moving from an issue A to B to C to D to E. We are not persisting on one issue to get one logical conclusion, right? So that is one thing, why spirit is getting contaminated or why spirit is getting polluted. Then, so what would happen to nature? This is somewhat similar to this. Okay, what would happen to nature? What would happen to nature when spirit gets polluted? What would happen to nature if spirit gets polluted? Then again, you can also say nature also shapes spirit. It's like too much unidimensional. You should not say that only spirit will impact nature. And then a good nature will also nurture our spirit. It's also other way around. This part need not be overdone. Nature also shapes our spirit. Nature also shapes our spirit, no doubt about it. Then I would like to see another dimension before conclusion, that is how to nurture our spirits. How to nurture our spirits means how to reform our inner conscience, how to reform our inner self. So that is how you can ensure that you maintain the beauty, you maintain the harmony, you maintain the renewal capability, and you maintain the interconnectedness of nature. This is how you have to approach this. Okay, so the question, if you read carefully, it says our spirit is reflected in the nature. So you should tell how spirit gets reflected in the nature. Means if spirit is good, nature will be good. If spirit gets polluted, nature gets polluted. And you can detail what would happen to the nature with a polluted spirit. Let's say if your spirit is polluted with greed, then more projects will come and more environmental destruction will happen. If your spirit is all about what you call personal interest or individual interest, or if your spirit does not long for reviving, for protecting, promoting, conserving your culture, if your spirit does not support social sustainability, then that is how we keep on endlessly damaging our environments. Then we will say why our spirit is getting polluted. Yeah, why our spirit is getting polluted? Obviously, several things around us. It could be our capitalist greed, or it could be what you call self-centered nature of an individual, it could be capitalist nature, it could be imperialist tendencies, it could be power. All these are various factors that would usually contribute to what do you call spirit getting polluted. So what would happen to the nature? Nature also shapes spirit. Sometimes it's this part need not be overdone, but you also have to acknowledge that even nature has the potential to shape spirit, isn't it? A beautiful nature can renew the spirit, isn't it? Why people go on weekend trips to nature? Because they would want to renew their spirits, isn't it? They want to get set their mind right, so they would go to nature, spend some time in the nature. The beauty of the nature, or that renewal ability of the nature, or that harmony in the nature might bring us back our spirits. Likewise, and how to nurture our spirit? How to nurture our spirit is very similar to how to nurture a virtue, isn't it? How to instill a virtue is nothing but similar to nurturing your spirit. The same framework you can use here also. Got my point? So that is how you have to approach this question. Nature is the symbol of spirit. Nature is the symbol of spirit. Nature is the symbol of spirit. Okay. Think once again for one more minute. If we can add anything to this. Any more dimensions which I have missed out? I did not get much time to prepare, so possibly I might have missed on some dimensions also. I would be really glad if you can add any of the dimensions. Good enough? Yes. Anything else you can add? Okay. Cheyali. Is there any other option? Sixth one, of course. Even I suggested that this is a difficult, not easy to crack kind of topic. But once you crack it, you understood, right? If you have read it 10 times, then it's actually simple. It is saying X is symbolizing Y. X is symbolizing Y. Okay. Then what will happen if Y is lost? So what will happen if Y is lost, and Y is getting lost, and how to nurture Y? And is it always Y to X? Can it also be X to Y? So it's a simple logic only, not very difficult logic actually. Arguments is not difficult. Why spirit is getting polluted? We generated arguments easily. Right? And how to nurture spirit is also easy to generate arguments. How nature shapes spirit also is easy. What would happen to nature also is easy, right? Like where we will destroy the nature, like we will we will exploit the nature, we will destroy the nature, we will misuse the nature, like that you should build it. Not that difficult. Yeah. Next topic. Well educated mind will always have more questions. Well educated mind or a well formed mind will have more questions than answers. Well educated mind will have more questions. Well educated mind will have more questions than answers. Well educated mind will have more questions than answers. So here, what is a well educated mind? Well educated mind, it is taking a standard, it will have more questions than answers. So a more educated mind is nothing but, well educated mind is a symbol of wisdom, right? It's not just a dump of information, it is sense of wisdom. So I try to identify wisdom as the core thing. Okay, now from this I'll try to generate dimensions. Okay, wisdom Okay. Wisdom has the potential. Wisdom generates questions. Wisdom generates questions by. So this is the first dimension. Wisdom do not settle with easy answers. That is one dimension I would pick. Then what can destroy or what can impact wisdom, people from acquiring wisdom, people from acquiring wisdom. Okay, a mind with wisdom, a mind with wisdom may stop asking questions, may stop asking questions that would lead to, that would lead to, that would lead to, that would lead to how to inspire a well-educated mind, a well-educated mind to ask right questions. Again, questions is not random questions, right? It's about right question. Just because you have a well-educated mind, that doesn't guarantee that everyone asks right questions. Sometimes people might feel overconfident about their wisdom and might end up asking wrong questions. Wrong questions. So these are the dimensions I could think of. Okay. How can a wisdom generates question? So somebody who is having wisdom, so because of the fact that he has wisdom, that keeps him, that inner child, always curious. Because of this inner wisdom, this guy is always curious. He is always inquisitive. He is always receptive or open to new learning. Because of this, he is tolerant. He is humble. He puts effort, isn't it? It's not arrogance. You get some amount of knowledge, you think you know everything. That arrogance will make you less curious, less inquisitive, less receptive, less tolerant to new learning, new things, new people, new places, new circumstances. Makes you again arrogant, less humble, and you will not invest your time in, you will not put effort, isn't it? That's happened with most of the senior aspirants also, right? After 1-2 attempts, they think they already gained a lot of information. Once they think that they gain a lot of information, all these things will happen. So that is when they stop asking right questions, or they stop asking questions itself. So generates questions by, and wisdom do not settle with easy answers. This is also more or less similar. Somebody with wisdom do not settle with easy answers because of the fact that their mind is curious, inquisitive. You can generate other arguments, or you can use more or less the same arguments. Then what can impact people from acquiring wisdom is also important, isn't it? Generally, what stops people from acquiring wisdom? What stops people from acquiring wisdom? What stops people from acquiring wisdom? Simple. People stops acquiring wisdom when they get arrogant, when they get ignorant, when they get what do you call when they have avarice or laziness, or when they get complacent, isn't it? Or when they are demotivated. When they get demotivated, isn't it? This is when people stop acquiring wisdom. Sometimes people get arrogant, means they feel that they know everything. Or sometimes they get ignorant, means they do not even know what they do not know. Or sometimes just out of laziness or inertia. Sometimes they would get complacent, okay, enough is enough, I know. or sometimes just that they know that they do not know, but they are not motivated enough to know likewise. So you should build these arguments. Then what else? What can impact? Yeah, a mind with wisdoms may stop asking questions that would lead to. Sometimes people may have wisdom, but they may stop asking right questions. They may stop. When would that happen? Simple. When people have fear. When people have fear, they may have wisdom, but they may not ask questions. Or when people are not morally correct, okay, they may have wisdom, but they themselves are not morally correct, so they think they don't have that, what do you call, intellectual standing to ask questions. So likewise, some people might have wisdom, isn't it? Just like in society there are enough intellectuals, they have enough wisdom, but the problem is they don't ask right questions. Why they don't ask right questions? Because they fear consequences, or they believe they themselves are not morally correct, though they are intellectually sound or they have wisdom. They are not morally correct, so that might stop them. Or they have just apathy, a sense of apathy. They just don't care. They just don't care. So that is why people with wisdom also should ask questions. Then the next dimension is how to inspire a well-educated mind to ask right questions. A well-educated mind should be inspired to ask right questions. So this is how you have to build this essay. A simple essay only. So a well-educated mind will always have more questions than answers, because they will not settle for less. So headings, as you're writing headings, you put headings from the essay itself. Here for your ease of understanding, I might be identifying these dimensions. As you are writing your headings, you should write headings on those lines. Like take it from the question itself and write it. It will make it easy for the examiner to understand it in a better way. Okay. So yeah, that is about this question. Then
Can learning also be a core theme?
learning also.
Learning, learning attitude.
Hmm.
అది కూడా core theme అయి ఉండొచ్చు.
Learning always have more questions than
అంటే a well-educated
a well-educated mind will have more questions than answers. More questions than answers means because they have this intellectual curiosity all the time. They'll not get complacent. They'll not think that okay, they already know enough.
because they have that learning attitude.
Learning attitude.
Learning attitude can also
You can also say that it's an attitude. Yeah, it's a positive attitude. Wisdom gives a positive attitude wherein they want to learn more and more. Say it.
అలా అనట్లేదు.
Ah.
Core theme learning attitude అనుకొని dimensions create చేసి రాయొచ్చు.
No, that limits learning attitude.
Dimensions and arguments.
Learning attitude comes from wisdom. We can say it that way also. A learning attitude comes from wisdom. So you want to say learning attitude as the core. Yeah, I think even if you put learning attitude as the core thing,
Arguments would be
learning attitude will be the more or less the that's what. Sometimes when there is not much difference in the core themes, the arguments you generate out of it will largely overlap. So nothing much would happen actually based on what you are suggesting as the core theme. Okay, next question. Shelving hard decisions is the least ethical course. Shelving hard decisions. Shelving hard decisions is the least ethical course. This somehow I found it easy. I keep saying in the class also, right? Path of least resistance. Path of least resistance. Often we avoid hard decisions because human mind always wants to conserve energy. In an anthropological sense, it's an evolutionary thing. We always follow path of least resistance, which means we do what is convenient to us. We do whatever is we often resort to expedient actions. Expedient means it is convenient, it is easy, it takes us to the place where we want. It's like means and ends debate only. Often reaching ends is important for some people, means doesn't matter much. So when means doesn't matter much, you take convenient position, you do expedient things. Simply put, you follow a path of least resistance, means you tend to take a choice, an easier choice, not a tougher choice. An easier choice, assuming that you would get into the result at the earliest without much effort. So that is what it is talking about. Shelving hard decisions means you have to make certain hard decisions in the life. But if you avoid that hard decisions, wherein you are risk averse or you are averse towards efforts or you have an aversion towards, so this is taking a stand that that is also the least ethical course. It has taken this idea of risk aversion or aversion of the efforts, and this quote is saying that it is also unethical. It is also unethical. Unethical, isn't it? So that's again a beautiful quote. Now let's work on the dimensions part of it. Okay. So what is the first dimension you can think of? First dimension, let's substantiate it. Substantiating means why shelving, why shelving hard, why shelving hard decisions is least ethical. Why shelving hard decisions is least ethical, that itself according to me is first dimension. Then second important dimension, reason people tend to shelve or to avoid hard decisions, isn't it? We should identify that why people do this. Then outcomes of avoiding hard decisions, outcomes of avoiding hard decisions. Okay, identifying criteria, identifying criteria of which decision to be pursued or not. Identifying criteria of which decision should to be pursued or not. Should we always take hard decisions, or in a simple way, are all hard decisions automatically ethical? Just because a decision is hard, no, are all hard decision ethical because court is taking a stand that all hard decisions are ethical? No, shelving hard decisions. Shelving means avoiding hard decisions, which means it is saying ethical decisions are hard decisions. Just because a decision is a hard decision, that does not mean that every time it is ethical. Okay. Then how to train your mind? How to train ourselves? How to train ourselves? How to train ourselves to take hard decisions and also right decisions, because it's not just about hard decisions, it is also about right decisions, because every time hard need not be right. Sometimes hard also can be wrong. Hard cannot be easy, hard can be wrong, hard cannot be easy. Observe this carefully. These are the following dimensions, because you have to substantiate. Shelving of hard decisions is least ethical. Why? Because when you do not want to do hard things, means you are not following the right means. That is one argument. When you are not willing to do hard things means you are not willing to put effort. When you are not willing to do hard things means you are not inclined to be disciplined. Like that you have to build arguments. And why people tend to skip hard decisions? Risk aversion, fear of effort, fear of missing out. All these are the various reasons why people avoid taking hard decisions. So what will happen if you avoid hard decisions? Definitely, if you avoid hard decisions, what do you call, or if you end up taking pathway of least resistance, what would happen? Sometimes you might contribute to many unintended consequences, negative consequences, like that you will write. Then you should identify criteria. See, when a decision should be made and how a decision should be made, there should be a criteria for it. What is that criteria? Same in your ethics, there is that meta ethics, right? Teleological ethics, deontological ethics, virtue ethics. They are nothing but they should help you in taking a decision. When you are arriving at a decision, your decision should have this fundamental criteria. Your decision should be backed by certain virtues, or your decision should satisfy the consequentialist principle, or your decision should at least satisfy the deontological principle or Kantian principle, or maybe your decision should satisfy the Rawls principle of wheel of ignorance, or Rawlsian principle of justice. That's one simple and easy framework. You can make it much more analytically deeper also, but all your decisions should be driven by ethicality, right? Some ethical framework should be there. So that is when it makes it easy for you to identify which, just because a hard decision need not always be a right decision. Then are all hard decisions ethical? Need not be. Just because something is difficult or something is hard does not make it automatically ethical. Sometimes hard decisions also could produce negative outcomes or negative consequences that you should identify. Then of course you should train ourselves in such a way that we should be in a position to take both hard decisions and also right decisions. That is very similar to nurturing of the virtues. Nurturing of the virtues. Got my point? Yes. So yeah, that is about this topic. Understood. Shelving hard decision is the least ethical course. Take 1 minute time. Try to read what is written on the board. Okay, I'm going a little fast because I just want to finish it off in 2 hours. But after going back, you have to work on it again. Only then this session will make more sense. Okay, at least sit 2-3 hours and again try to think. There might be a possibility that I might have missed on some dimensions. You might come up with more innovative dimensions. Arguments I have not worked much in the class. I just read out without actually writing them on the board. You try to generate more arguments. Examples I have not even touched in the class. Only few examples I mentioned. You work up to generate examples. Essay is only this much. Even if you this 2 hours of session you watch multiple times, that's it. You need not do any expensive paid courses for you to write essay is that commonsensical, pure common sense, pure presence of mind, and like that. Yes. Online students, any doubts? uh, can decisions be identified in administrative terms which affect vulnerable? One plus. Okay, I did not understand this. Can you reframe and send it again? Yeah, I did not properly understand the context of this, under which dimension you are talking about. Yeah, please reframe it and send it again. And this is next question is one thing which repeatedly they ask: leadership. Every year, this theme is getting repeated. Leadership theme. But I don't know how many of you have observed this contradiction and paradoxes. Also, they asked once. Mind is like a game. Something I think in 2023 or 24 they asked one question that has an anthropological reference to it, right? In anthropology also we study binary opposites, isn't it? Anthropology students wrote that really well at that point of time. Here also contradictions, and in anthropology, in structuralism, we also study binary opposites only, right? We study how to negotiate binary opposites or reconcile binary opposites. So with that understanding, yes, an anthropology student even attempt otherwise a toughest topic like oxymoron also. Yes. Yes. So last essay. A good a good leader is one who follows the followers. A good leader is one who follows the followers. A good leader is one who follows the followers. What does this following the follower mean? Following the follower means he is listening. Okay? He is listening to his followers. He is empathetic. He is empathetic. He is participative. Okay? He is consultative. He is consultative. He is democratic in his attitude, in his approach. He is someone who is interested in creating a sense of ownership among followers, isn't it? Good leader is one who follows the followers. Here, what it means? Following the follower means he's being mindful of their needs, mindful of their aspirations. Okay, mindful of their aspirations, mindful of their needs. He's carefully attending to. He's listening. He's empathetic. He's participative in his approach. He's consultative in approach. He's democratic in his approach. He gives them a sense of ownership. He listens to their needs. He listens to their aspirations. He is that kind of leader. Okay? A good leader is one who follows the follower. So, what could be the core theme? Leadership. Leadership. In a simple terms, leadership. Little more precise, you can also call it a benevolent leadership. A benevolent leadership. It's a benevolent leadership. He's benevolent. Means he's nice, he listens, he's empathetic, he's participative, he's consultative. But this one particular has scope for antithesis, isn't it? Should a leader be always benevolent? Maybe sometimes, isn't it? There is a popular adage in Telugu also, right? Dog should wave its tail. It's not the tail that should wave the dog head, isn't it? In Telugu, they say it that way. Again, it's not every time. Leader should not be too pliable also. Should not listen to everything also, isn't it? Students come to us with many complaints. It's not that we address all complaints. We address only those complaints which we know that is good for them. You got my point? Obviously, at that age, there will be many complaints. In your age, you think, what will happen if this happens? Complaints will be there, but just because you have complaint, that doesn't mean that we will address every complaint, right? Some complaints are genuine, some complaints are some complaints have to be addressed if that has to be really help you. So as simple as that. True leadership is not just about listening to everything. Then that shows your weakness. You are not decisive. You don't believe in yourself. You can't stand firm on your whatever the decision you take. You got my point? But again, that doesn't mean that you should ignore all these things. You should be democratic. You should give them a sense of ownership. You should address their needs and aspirations. You should be consultative. You must be participative. You must be empathetic. You also must be listening. Okay? So let's go a little further into dimensions. Okay? Why a benevolent leader is a good leader. Why a benevolent leader is a good leader. Okay, so yeah, benevolent leader is a good leader because he possesses all these virtues. So I have already generated the arguments. And so reasons many leaders do not display benevolence. Many leaders do not display or also possess benevolence. They do not display benevolence. Sometimes they do not possess this benevolence. Why? And impact of such leadership style, impact of such leadership style, impact of such leadership style on followers, organization, or simply put entity. It need not even be organization. It could be nation, it could be state, it could be institution, it could be family also, right? Your father also can be a leader of your house, isn't it? He does not pay attention to everything you say, but he also pays attention to certain things you say, like that. So impact of such leadership style on followers and also entity he represents. Entity he represents. Okay, there will be impact, right? Morale will be low if he is not benevolent. What do you call, discontentment will be there, morale will be there, what do you call, curiosity will be there, will not be there, innovation will not be there. All these are the issues with, if leader is not following this benevolent style of leadership. Then again, should leader be benevolent always? Should leader be benevolent always? Should leader be benevolent always? Means should he always? Then he can't be called as a leader, right? He should be in a position to think ahead. He should be in a position to foresee. He should be in a position to analyze and understand what can happen if this is done and if this is not done. If he's just following the followers, he can't be called as a leader. He should be walking with them, not very far that he could not hear to what they are talking, and not very far that he may lose sight of what is happening in the ground, isn't it? He should maintain an optimal distance. The optimal distance should be like this: he should he should pay attention, but he should not get lost in the noise. So he should maintain an optimal distance. It should not be too much democratic, it also should not be undemocratic. There is a fine balance. So that will be the next dimension. How to maintain a balance. How to maintain a balance. How to maintain a balance. Okay, should not be overly democratic, should not be undemocratic. It should be a right proportion. There should be a right proportionality in being accessible to followers. Got my point? So that is why this is how you can build this. Reasons many leaders do not display or possess benevolence. Impact of such leadership style on followers. Should leaders be benevolent always? And how to balance between being overly benevolent and not being benevolent at all. Isn't it? That's a very important thing to be negotiated or reconciled with. So yeah, at the time of disasters and avoiding risk to save vulnerable. Okay. Yeah, you can definitely include, yeah, this idea also. So that completes this 8 essay topics. So you guys can just quickly download this classroom PDF also. The problem is if you give the same questions to ChatGPT, it will definitely confuse you because it does not know how to generate right dimensions. Okay, it only complicates especially essay dimensions have to be generated with human mind only, human thinking only. Okay, some frameworks, small frameworks it can give, but right dimension, just it's a QR code, you can just scan, you will get this PDF into your this thing. And again, as I said, essay writing is about constant practice. You should practice a lot on a daily basis for 15 minutes. What you should do is take a quotation or take a reflective topic and try to generate dimensions within it. This is one skill which will not come overnight. Understand that essay is one paper of optional. Paper 1, paper 2, you put 400 hours, 500 hours, but people do not even put 40 hours to 50 hours also for essay practice, thinking that we can write essay on essay day. It will not work like that. Okay, and I know most people who write mains for the first time, they write their first essay in UPSC itself, because essay is often not emphasized. And again, the problem with online courses and all this, I've seen some Delhi based online courses, what they do in the name of essay writing is they teach beautiful quotations, mythological stories, all that, keywords. Okay, they're all important, like I already mentioned in the first part. They are just very small component of your essay. If you don't identify core theme well, if you don't generate relevant dimensions, if you don't learn to generate appropriate arguments within a dimension and back them with appropriate examples, you don't learn how to prioritize a dimension, if you don't know how to do logical connection and how to write connectives, and these are fundamentals, right? You write your whole essay with beautiful mythological stories or quotations or references from books, fancy books. Don't think it will give marks for you. First thing that will be respected is your ability to identify the demand of the question. You don't understand the demand of the question, go by your recency bias, go by your favorite bias. Recency bias means you have read something last 1 week, you want to write it somehow in the essay, or something is your favorite, you want to ensure that it is represented in your essay. Essay will not work like that. You have to keep yourself emotionally distant from your all biases, all frameworks, unnecessary frameworks which tend to confuse you. Identify the real demand as it is, generate dimensions, relevant dimensions as they are, and then build your essay dimensions. Got my point? So, any quick doubts? Okay. Yes, as I said, work on this. Again, you have to spend 2 to 3 hours more on this discussion. I hope you have taken down some notes. Even if you have not taken down, at least this whatever, you use it as a template. Think on it. Spend some time on it, as I'm repeatedly saying. This will ensure that your essay skills are consolidated. Right? Thank you.